No Man's Sky promised players the entire universe, 18 quintillion unique planets to explore, limitless freedom, and grand cosmic adventures. The hype was astronomical. A tiny team at Hello Games went from making a cartoonish bike stunt game to unveiling No Man's Sky on the big stage. Critics and players alike were starry-eyed. This was the game that would redefine exploration.
No Man's Sky is going to be the biggest video game ever. You can do whatever you want.
But after launch, that shining star fell to earth, fast. In this video, I will tell you all how No Man's Sky went from sky-high anticipation to one of gaming's most infamous launch disasters, and then, incredibly, how it rose from the ashes to become a beloved space epic. Buckle up for the ultimate video game redemption story. In December 2013, Hello Games shocked the world by revealing No Man's Sky at the VGX Awards. The first trailer was pure wonder. Lush alien landscapes with towering dinosaurs, vibrant creatures flocking across plains, spaceships seamlessly taking off into a sky full of stars. Gamers had never seen anything like it. By E3 2014, No Man's Sky had stolen the show as an indie darling amidst big-budget titles. The concept seemed unbelievable, a virtually infinite, procedurally generated universe where every player could chart their own journey. Press outlets and fans built No Man's Sky up as the next revolutionary step in gaming. Hello Games founder Sean Murray, with his laid-back charm and infectious enthusiasm, appeared in countless interviews and even on late-night TV, painting a vision of an endless sci-fi sandbox. The promise was almost too good to be true. Seamless space-to-planet travel, rich ecosystems, multiplayer encounters, and the thrill of being the first to discover completely new worlds. As months rolled on, anticipation only grew. Hello Games, a studio of just over a dozen people, suddenly had the entire gaming world's attention. Early previews and trade shows kept fans ravenous. Each trailer and gameplay tease added more fuel. Immense space battles with fleets of ships, giant sandworms erupting from desert sands, mysterious monoliths hinting at deep lore. By mid-2016, hype was at fever pitch. No Man's Sky graced magazine covers and dominated online forums. Every fan imagined their own perfect space adventure based on the snippets shown. The developers, perhaps swept up in the excitement, spoke in broad strokes about possibilities. Sean Murray's interviews were optimistic and playful, but many viewers took every word as a promise. Could you encounter other players? It's a multiplayer universe, he hinted with a grin, though details remained vague. Expectations were sky high. After a couple of short delays, even one slight delay led to death threats against the team, Hello Games locked in August 2016 for launch. Millions of players pre-ordered their ticket to the cosmos, believing they were about to embark on the journey of a lifetime. On August 9th, 2016, gamers finally got their hands on No Man's Sky, and reality hit hard. On day one, joy turned into confusion and disappointment for many. The infinite universe was indeed there, but it felt oddly empty. Those huge dinosaurs from the trailers? Nowhere to be found, replaced by smaller, sometimes goofy creatures often stitched together from familiar parts. Dynamic space battles and fleets? Not in any meaningful way, only repetitive dogfights with basic AI pirates. And that multiplayer promise? 2 players managed to go to the exact same spot on a planet, only to discover they couldn't see each other at all. It dawned on everyone that No Man's Sky was missing a lot of what had been implied. Features like true multiplayer, complex creature behavior, planetary variety, and even something as simple as flying alongside friends were just absent. To make matters worse, the gameplay loop turned out to be shallow. After the initial awe of takeoff and first landing, players realized they were mostly mining resources and crafting over and over on planets that started to feel the same. Within days, word spread that the game simply didn't live up to the grand promises. The backlash was swift and merciless. No Man's Sky became the internet's punching bag overnight. On Steam, the game's reviews went from glowing pre-release anticipation to mostly negative within days, one of the worst turnarounds the platform had seen. Thousands of angry players left scathing reviews. They felt misled, even lied to. Memes labelled the game a borderline scam, and Sean Murray as a conman who promised the galaxy and delivered a pebble. The situation got so bad that some disappointed buyers sought refunds en masse, and even the UK's Advertising Standards Authority investigated whether the game's promotional materials had misled consumers. Amidst the firestorm, Hello Games went nearly radio silent. The once talkative Sean Murray vanished from social media and interviews. The sudden quiet was deafening, and it only fueled more rage. Some fans interpreted the silence as guilt, or worse, abandonment of the game. In reality, the tiny team at Hello Games was in crisis mode behind closed doors, scrambling to figure out what to do next. They faced not only internet outrage, but literal threats. Sean Murray and his team received death threats and bomb threats from extremists in the angry mob. It got so severe that they reportedly kept in contact with police authorities for safety. Imagine, one moment you're the darling of the industry, the next you're vilified to the point of fearing for your life. Hello Games had to make a choice: cut and run, or somehow make things right. When all seemed lost, Hello Games quietly started crafting a comeback. For about 2 months after launch, the studio went dark. No public replies, no excuses, just silence and hard work. Then, in November 2016, Hello Games suddenly broke their silence with an announcement of the Foundation update. The name said it all. This update was meant to lay the foundation for the game's future. It wasn't a complete overhaul yet, but it was the first step to rebuild trust. Foundation Update version 1.1 introduced features that should have been part of that grand vision from the start. Base building, players could finally construct home bases on planets, the ability to set up a home planet, and 2 new gameplay modes: a peaceful creative mode for casual exploration, and a challenging survival mode for those who wanted more difficulty. While it didn't magically fix every issue, it proved Hello Games wasn't abandoning No Man's Sky. They even slipped in some early groundwork for the aliens and lore, giving players more to do and discover. The reaction was cautiously optimistic. Some players who never left were overjoyed to finally have new content. Others who felt burnt remained skeptical or swore they'd never return. But importantly, many curious players did come back to see the changes. The game wasn't suddenly perfect, but it was improving. Hello Games made it clear this was just the beginning, a foundation for bigger things. Despite the lingering negativity in corners of the internet, some accused the update of being just a PR move, a spark of hope had been lit. The developer's strategy became evident. No more lofty promises on talk shows, just actions and free content to win back players step by step. Hello Games was just getting started. In March 2017, a few months after Foundation, they launched the Pathfinder update. This wasn't a minor patch, it was a substantial content drop, version 1.2, that gave players new reasons to explore planets. Pathfinder introduced planetary vehicles. Finally, you could summon a buggy and race across those landscapes, and even a new permadeath mode for the truly brave. It also brought visual upgrades, like improved lighting and even the option to play with a retro 1980s sci-fi aesthetic filter. Crucially, Hello Games also improved their communication a bit. Patch notes were detailed, and they started addressing community feedback more directly. The No Man's Sky subreddit, once filled with salt and memes about betrayal, began to see positivity creeping back. People posted screenshots of their new base builds or the cool vehicles they were driving, and compliments toward Hello Games started popping up. It was as if a cloud was slowly lifting. But the real turning point of 2017 came in August with the Atlas Rises update, version 1.3. This was the 1-year anniversary of No Man's Sky's launch, and what a difference a year made. In the weeks leading up to it, something interesting happened. Hello Games engaged the community with Waking Titan, an ARG, alternating reality game, involving puzzles and hidden lore that eventually revealed details of the upcoming update. When Atlas Rises dropped, it was massive. It added 30 hours of new story content, lore-rich missions that gave context to the universe, and the narrative drive that the launch version sorely lacked. The update also added portals, allowing players to fast travel to distant planets via ancient alien gates, and for the first time, a form of online co-op. True multiplayer was still on the horizon, but Atlas Risers allowed up to 16 players to see each other as floating orbs and even hear each other's voice chat if they met up. A strange, ghostly precursor to real multiplayer, but proof that Hello Games was inching toward that promise. The planets themselves got a makeover, with more variety and exotic biomes, making exploration far more engaging. This is when sentiment really began to shift. Many who had written the game off in 2016 started to admit, hey, No Man's Sky is actually becoming pretty good now. The community's tone flipped from pure negativity to cautious praise. Steam's recent review score, which tracks the latest player reviews, climbed into positive territory around this time. By late 2017, Steam reviews from recent months were mostly positive, reflecting that new players and returning explorers were enjoying the changes. The historical all-time rating was still bogged down by the launch backlash, but the ship was turning around. No Man's Sky was no longer a joke. It was on its way to being the comeback kid of the industry. If Atlas Rises was a turning point, No Man's Sky Next was a full-on rebirth. Launched in July 2018, the next update, version 1.5, was so large and transformative that many players considered it No Man's Sky 2.0 in all but name. First, Next finally delivered what early fans craved most: proper multiplayer. Up to 4 players could team up, explore planets together, build bases cooperatively, and actually see each other as character models. No more floating orbs. This fundamentally changed the vibe of the game. Space can feel a lot less lonely when your friends are by your side, waving and pointing at the weird creatures you just discovered together. Speaking of which, Hello Games added a third-person camera view for the first time, letting players see their own customizable character and ships externally, which subtly made the game feel more like a modern adventure and less of an isolationist survival experience. Next also massively overhauled graphics and terrain generation. Planets got richer color palettes, denser flora, and more varied landscapes. Base building was expanded and improved, with the ability to build multiple bases and much larger structures, basically inviting players to get really creative with their home planets or even underwater bases. Yes, there were even aquatic elements enhanced. Space combat and fleet management also got upgrades. You could now command a fleet of frigates from a capital ship freighter, sending them on missions across the galaxies. Additionally, 2018's update marked the game's debut on Xbox One, having been PS4/PC only initially, meaning a surge of new players came aboard with the improved version as their first experience. The reception to No Man's Sky Next was overwhelmingly positive. This was the moment a lot of skeptics finally gave the game a second chance. Media outlets that once mocked the game now ran stories like "No Man's Sky is good now" and "No Man's Sky's big comeback." With the influx of new Xbox players and returning PC/PS4 players, the game's population skyrocketed that summer. For the first time since launch, No Man's Sky was trending for good reasons. On Steam, the recent reviews hit overwhelmingly positive during that period. A stunning contrast to 2 years prior. Hello Games had effectively relaunched their game and rebranded its image through sheer hard work and free content. Sean Murray, who had been quiet for so long, cautiously re-emerged into the public eye around this time, giving interviews about the team's journey. Notably, he emphasized lessons learned, like how staying silent until things are ready became their new norm, avoiding the hype cycle that led to the original missteps.
Hello Games didn't stop at Next. The momentum carried into 2019 with yet another major expansion, fittingly titled Beyond version 2.0. In August 2019, No Man's Sky Beyond pushed the boundaries even further, essentially delivering 3 updates in one: virtual reality support, a significant online social component, and countless quality of life improvements. VR mode allowed players with Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, PlayStation VR, etc. to actually step into their starships and onto alien worlds in full VR, a dream many had since day one. Amazingly, the entire game became playable in VR without sacrificing features, a huge technical feat that made No Man's Sky one of the most robust VR titles overnight. Next, Beyond greatly expanded multiplayer by introducing the Nexus, a social hub space station, the upgraded Space Anomaly, where up to 16 to 32 players could see and interact with each other, group up for missions, or just show off their character customizations and ships. All of a sudden, the universe felt alive with other travelers. Beyond also brought tons of new stuff. You could tame and ride alien creatures, cook bizarre interstellar recipes, and electrical power systems were added for base building geeks to wire up their dream bases with logic systems. By this point, No Man's Sky was almost unrecognizable compared to its launch version. It had become far more than what was originally promised, not only catching up on those missing features, but exceeding them. The community response was joyous. Players who had stuck around formed a welcoming community, and new players kept arriving as word spread that No Man's Sky was the quintessential comeback story. Review scores continued to climb. By the end of 2019, the game's Steam overall rating had improved drastically from the dark days. It was hovering at mostly positive for recent reviews, and edging the overall closer to positive territory as well. The industry took notice of this unprecedented turnaround. Hello Games won the Best Ongoing Game Award, and they were starting to get nods in categories like Best Community Support at the Game Awards. In just 3 years, Hello Games went from pariahs to pioneers of post-launch support.
One of the most impressive things about No Man's Sky is that Hello Games didn't just declare victory after the big redemption in 2019, they kept going, full throttle. The years 2020 through 2023 saw a steady stream of major free updates, each expanding the game in new directions and showing that Hello Games was committed for the long haul. To highlight a few, Living Ship Update, February 2020. Introduced organically grown biomechanical alien starships. Players could hatch and raise their own living spacecraft, a strikingly original addition that nobody saw coming. It felt like the game had evolved from fixing past promises to genuinely adding new imaginative content. Exomech, April 2020, brought pilotable mechanical walkers, letting you stomp around planets in a giant mech suit, because why not? Desolation, summer 2020. Added eerie, derelict freighters in space that you could explore. Essentially mini dungeon experiences with a horror vibe, channeling alien-like atmosphere, complete with slimy aliens and malfunctioning robots. Origins, September 2020. A huge update, dubbed No Man's Sky 3.0, that overhauled planetary diversity on a massive scale. It dramatically increased the variety of planet types, flora, fauna, and even added new weather events, like colossal sandworms borrowing a page from the game's very first trailer. Origins basically made the universe feel fresh and unpredictable again, even for veteran players. Many called it No Man's Sky 2 because of how much it expanded the game's scope. Companions, 2021. Allowed players to tame creatures as pets, breed them, and even have them accompany you on your journey, deepening the bond players had with the worlds they found. Ever wanted a weird alien pet that lays robot eggs? Now you could. Expeditions, 2021. Introduced a new seasonal game mode where players start fresh together and complete communal challenges across a set journey, unlocking unique rewards. This mode even brought crossover surprises, like one expedition reward was the SSV Normandy from Mass Effect appearing as a frigate in your fleet. A sci-fi fan's dream Easter egg.
These expeditions kept the community engaged and returning regularly, almost like mini-events in an MMO. Prisms, Frontiers, Outlaws, Endurance, and many more, 2021 to 2022. Each update refined a different facet. Prisms revamped the visuals with new effects, fur on creatures, shiny cave crystals, beautiful rainbows, and particle effects. Frontiers added the ability to found and manage planetary settlements, becoming an overseer of an alien town. Outlaws introduced outlaw systems with space pirates and smuggling gameplay. And Endurance overhauled freighter base building, allowing players to create massive custom capital ships. There was even Sentinels in February 2022, which overhauled combat and enemy variety, making those once generic Sentinel drones into a more interesting challenge with new enemy types and even recruitable friendly drones. By 2023, with updates like Waypoint, 4.0, and Echoes, No Man's Sky had truly become a complete package. Waypoint introduced a substantial revision of the game's balance and structure, offering options to tailor survival difficulty so new players could ease in, while hardcore players could ramp up the challenge. Echoes, mid-2023, added a whole new race of robotic aliens and a narrative arc surrounding them, as well as massive battles against pirate dreadnought ships, giving long-term players even more to sink their teeth into. It's worth emphasizing, all of these updates were completely free to existing players. No paid DLC, no microtransactions. Every improvement was delivered as a thank you to the community for sticking around. With each major update, more players came back to give the game another shot, and new players discovered it for the first time with wide-eyed wonder. No Man's Sky went from an empty, repetitive galaxy to a rich universe overflowing with content.
Fast forward to 2025, No Man's Sky is no longer the cautionary tale it once was. It's now held up as the gold standard for redemption in gaming. The phrase, pulling a No Man's Sky, has entered gamer vocabulary as shorthand for fixing a broken game through dedication. Hello Games not only salvaged their flagship game, they saved their studio's reputation, and perhaps their entire company. It's hard to imagine Hello Games surviving as a business if they had walked away in 2016. Instead, they poured years of effort into making amends. This unwavering commitment eventually turned public opinion around. The proof is in the numbers and the fan feedback. Remember those atrocious Steam scores at launch? Over the years, they ticked upward, 1 percentage point at a time. By 2018, after the early updates, No Man's Sky's recent reviews hit mixed instead of negative. The first big hurdle passed. By late 2021, following the torrent of updates through that year, the overall Steam rating finally climbed from mixed to mostly positive. Finally, in late 2024, 8 years after launch, No Man's Sky achieved very positive overall on Steam, an almost unprecedented recovery. At that moment, an emotional Sean Murray tweeted out, "Holy f*** you guys, it happened. You have no idea what this means to us." Clearly, it meant the world to this team. The game that once had thousands of negative reviews burying its score had accumulated so many new positive reviews that the balance tipped into glory. Today, around 94% of recent Steam reviews are positive,
An almost overwhelmingly positive reception in practice. More importantly, the player community is happy. No Man's Sky has a dedicated fanbase who create stunning artworks, share stories of their interstellar expeditions, and eagerly await each new surprise Hello Games cooks up. The game's subreddit and social media are filled with comparisons of then versus now, expressing misplaced at how far things have come. New players often ask, is it worth getting into No Man's Sky now? And veteran fans enthusiastically answer, absolutely yes. It's one of the best space exploration games out there now. That sentiment would have been unimaginable in 2016. Hello Games' journey with No Man's Sky has impacted the industry at large. Other developers cite this saga when their own games stumble. We often hear, could this be the next No Man's Sky style comeback? It's given hope that even if a game launches in rough shape, sincere, long-term effort can redeem it. That said, few have matched the sheer extent of support and free content that No Man's Sky delivered. It truly is a unique case study. As of now, Hello Games continues to update No Man's Sky. Yes, even 9 years in, they're still adding new stuff. They've also quietly started working on a new ambitious project. And because of the hard-earned goodwill from No Man's Sky's redemption, people are actually excited and trusting in Hello Games again. It's a complete 180-degree shift from the days when their name was met with skepticism. This tiny team from Guildford went to the brink of disaster and clawed their way back to success, one update at a time.
No Man's Sky's story is one of the greatest comeback arcs in gaming history. It's a tale of overambition and hard lessons, but also of passion, resilience, and listening to the community. Hello Games overpromised and underdelivered at first, and they faced the consequences. But instead of giving up, they put their heads down and let their work do the talking. Update after update, they rebuilt a shattered dream into something beyond what was originally envisioned. They turned angry customers into loyal fans and transformed media ridicule into industry respect. Today, No Man's Sky isn't just that game that recovered, It's genuinely a fantastic game, period. It offers a universe of content that can easily devour hundreds of hours. You can explore infinite worlds, build colonies, befriend weird creatures, fight pirates in space, delve into mysteries of ancient aliens, or just wander around sightseeing surreal vistas with friends in tow. The journey to get here was rocky, but perhaps that makes the destination even sweeter. The saga of No Man's Sky serves as a reminder. Sometimes, even when a launch implodes, it's not truly the end. With enough dedication and maybe a bit of stubborn love for their creation, developers can turn around even the bleakest situations. Hello Games has secured their legacy not as the makers of a failed promise, but as the studio that wouldn't quit until No Man's Sky was everything it was meant to be, and more. It's a redemption well earned. In the vast expanse of gaming history, No Man's Sky will be remembered not for its fall, but for its remarkable rise.